Amsterdam, 1667, the richest city on earth. This is a republic built on water and ambition, where merchants command fleets that circle the globe, where printing presses run so hot that more books roll out here than in all of France, and where religious refugees slip through the gates looking for something rare in Europe, permission to breathe. And in the middle of all this wealth, a man named Rembrandt, now considered one of history's greatest artists, has just died in relative poverty. The Golden Age is at its peak, and it's already showing its cracks. Amsterdam is home to only about 200,000 people, yet it controls a trading world that stretches farther than most empires ever dreamed. From New Amsterdam on the Hudson River to the Spice Islands of Indonesia, from West African slave posts to the tightly controlled Dutch trading station in Japan. The city's canals pulse like arteries, crowded with ships carrying pepper, silk, sugar, timber, grain, even tulip bulbs. Wealth flows through counting houses where new methods of accounting are changing business forever. But beneath the elegance, there's poverty, there's tension, and there's the constant shadow of war with England and France. Today, using modern AI tools, we can take 17th century paintings, maps, and engravings and rebuild this world in photoreal detail, bringing back the Amsterdam our ancestors once knew. Not the postcard version, the real one. A city that helped invent modern finance, pioneered a form of religious tolerance, and proved a merchant republic could stand toe-to-toe with Europe's monarchies. Start at the harbor, the gateway to the world. Stand on the waterfront in 1667, and you're looking at the busiest port in Europe, maybe the busiest on the planet. The water is packed so tight it feels like a forest of masts. Huge East India Company ships, massive floating fortresses, returning from voyages that lasted months and sometimes years. Smaller vessels bringing Baltic timber and grain, fishing boats from the North Sea, and warships of the Dutch Navy, always close, always ready. It's a staggering sight for a country with only about 2 million people. Watch one East India ship being unloaded. What's inside is more than cargo. It's a transformation of European life. Cloves and pepper from the Moluccas, cotton textiles from India, coffee from Java, porcelain and silk from China. Some of those spices are worth their weight in silver. One successful voyage can make investors unimaginably wealthy. But the gamble is brutal. Storms swallow ships whole. Disease kills crews. Pirates hunt the weak. Rival nations attack the bold. A significant share of voyages fail completely. And yet the profits from the winners are so enormous that the money keeps pouring in. At the center of this machine is the Dutch East India Company, the VOC, often called the first true multinational corporation. This isn't just a business. It sells shares you can buy and sell, creating a new kind of market. It has its own soldiers, its own fleet, the power to negotiate treaties, even to wage war. A profit-driven company with the authority of a state. And it is turning Amsterdam into a financial superpower. But look closer, and the shine dims. Those same ships help move enslaved people from West Africa across the Atlantic, feeding plantation economies that produce sugar and tobacco. In the Spice Islands, VOC control is ruthless. Monopolies enforced with violence, crops destroyed to crush competition, entire communities punished for resistance. Amsterdam's wealth is real, but so is the cost. And most people in the city, surrounded by luxury, barely question the morality of what funds it. Even the city itself is a feat of engineering. Amsterdam sits on swampy ground. It survives because the Dutch have learned how to fight the sea. Dikes, windmills, reclaimed land, an artificial landscape built by stubborn intelligence. The buildings rest on millions of wooden pilings driven deep into the mud. Without them, the city would sink. And the harbor isn't romantic. It's loud, filthy, alive. Salt water, tar, fish, sewage, spices, hemp rope, everything mixed into one overwhelming smell. Sailors shout in a dozen languages. Hammers ring from shipyards. Bells, carts, barrels, cranes. This is commerce in its rawest form. Messy, relentless, unstoppable. Now follow the canals, these liquid streets of gold. Walk along the Herengracht, the Gentleman's Canal, and you're in one of the most elegant neighborhoods on earth. Tall canal houses rise 4 or 5 stories, narrow but deep, with gabled facades that look like signatures of wealth. They're built thin because taxes are based on the width facing the street. So merchants build upward, then backward, squeezing luxury into vertical space. Look at the tops of these houses. The hooks. Those aren't decoration. They're for hoisting furniture and goods through windows because the staircases inside are too steep and narrow. Step inside and you'll find oak paneling, patterned tiles, imported carpets, cabinets filled with Delftware pottery, local status symbols inspired by Chinese porcelain. And the walls are covered in art, not 1 or 2 paintings for show. 30, 40, entire rooms turned into private galleries. In Amsterdam, art isn't just for kings and churches. It's for the merchant class, proof that wealth has taste. But the canals themselves are not clean. They're working waterways. They're transport routes. And too often, they're also dumping grounds. Chamber pots emptied straight into the water. Waste from breweries, tanneries, dye works. In summer, the stench can be unbearable. In winter, when the canals freeze, everything changes. The city turns into a moving painting. Frozen waterways become roads, skating rinks, crowded with life, laughter, and speed. That's the Amsterdam you've seen in famous winter scenes. And yes, those paintings were real moments,